I've been in procurement for 29 years. I've worked in auto, defense, consumer goods, industrial, mostly manufacturing organizations. And now I work at CJ Logistics, and we are an integrated supply chain supplier offering transportation, warehousing, and freight forwarding. My role is the director of procurement. And with that, I am responsible for trying to coordinate all our different warehouse sites and get us on the same page in terms of the sources that we're going to for procurement, primarily indirect materials. And so that's kind of where I'm focusing now. There's a lot of different services that each of these sites need that one might not necessarily expect to see, especially for myself coming from a manufacturing background. And so where ProcurementIQ comes in handy is I'm able to pull up the list of those different services for something that comes across my desk that maybe I've never experienced before. And I'm able to get some background information on it. A good example, a couple of weeks ago, I had a contract come across my desk for elevator preventative maintenance. And I've never dealt with anything with elevators before other than writing. So it was kind of something I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's see if they've got anything. And sure enough, there was something in there. The price environment is very helpful. I'm kind of a numbers guy, and having worked in manufacturing organizations and working with product, I like to understand what builds up those costs. So being able to see the different cost elements, really seeing the kind of the labor rates of all the different areas. Again, we're national, so I have sites all over. And so the labor rate for a service in one area of the country might be different than another. And so being able to understand those variations is very helpful. The supply chain tab is very helpful as well. Gives me some insights as to who some of those key suppliers might be. We recently were working on the contract that we're looking to do an RFP for, and wasn't really sure who the key players might be. And so we went to the site, pulled up the category, went to that tab, and was able to find some of those key players. And we were able to actually get one of them under contract for a location that we need. I think it's just trying to combat the cost increases. I think tariffs are kind of a part of that, but the broader picture, the inflation is really something that becomes challenging, especially in a procurement environment. We're tasked with getting price reductions or cost reductions year over year, and there's only so much juice that you can squeeze out of that orange. And so you have to find different ways that you can get that value. So I think that's something that I don't know if you'd call it a trend per se, but I think it's more than just the price, right? So you have to really look at the bigger picture and see, okay, what else is being offered with this particular price that I'm paying? What benefits am I able to get from it? I think another one that I've seen more recently is working on rebates. And I think it's just to build that relationship a little bit stronger and say, hey, I'm going to go with you. And if you incentivize me, then even more, likely to go with you for that particular service. I think that the way that you're going to get to the best solution is to really let the other party know what it is that you really need. There's lots of things that we want, but you really just need to get to the brass tacks of this is what I need in order to move on, and find out from them the same thing. And I think where ProcurementIQ has been helpful with that is it's provided me some insights into some of the different costs that go into the services that are being provided. The other thing it's done is it's kind of prompted me with some questions and things that I may not have known about to ask with some of these different categories, the things that maybe aren't important to me, but are important to them. And so I think it's been very helpful in that sense. The biggest benefit that I've seen so far is I have a relatively new procurement team. So here at CJ, procurement's been around for about 3.5 years, formally. The two folks that are on my team were both long-term CJ people, but had never done procurement. And so there's a lot to learn in that regard. Recently, we were doing an RFQ for janitorial services. And we spent a few weeks pulling it together. This is before we had gotten Procurement IQ. A few weeks pulling the RFP together and just kind of digging and figuring out what it is that we need to ask and those types of things. We then got Procurement IQ, and there's that RFP template in there. And so we went and we pulled up the RFP template and we kind of checked it against our work. We're like, okay, yeah, we got that. And we're like, okay, good. We did a good job. It took us 3 weeks to do it. So, the downside was that the time it took. The upside was, wow, this is, right there for us to move forward. So I think one of the big benefits that I see for my team moving forward, we've used it a couple of times already, is the time savings that we're going to have in putting RFQs together to really get out and do more of that. Like I said, as a newer function, we don't really have a lot of those bigger contracts across a number of our sites, a lot of one-off type things. And so this is going to allow us to really gather those requirements from the different sites, but kind of have that RFP ready to go, as opposed to spending a month building up. My team of 2, if we do that, we're only going to do a few events a year. So this will really allow us to attack more categories going